All right, so if you want to see what questions are in one of the quizzes without the question bank, or you wanted to change an answer or something, what you do, I'm just going to show, this is one of Courtney's classes here. You click on a class you want to go to, and then you go to where the quiz is. So actually, let me do this. I'm going to go to a different class because I'm going to show, I'm fixing a question right now that I had a mistake in. So let me go down here to this class. This is one of Colleen's classes, but this question, one of Colleen's kids sent her that it was wrong. So I go to the quiz, and then you should be able to see all this. And if you go to questions, it just has this thing right here, but this is where it stores the question bank. And this is what I figured out last year. This is why when you update the question bank, it doesn't update the questions, because it basically takes that question bank and puts it here. So if you click this little down arrow right here, it opens up all the questions that it's picking those two questions from. So the question that's got the mistake in it is down here, right here. This question says nearest tenth and nearest cubic foot in it. So if it's typed, like a lot of the questions are, you can just go in and change the words. But this was a, so I click the little gear, I click edit. All mine are images, so I just click the image and delete it. But if you go in here, you can edit the question however you want. So I'm going to put the correct question in there, which is that one. And then the answer should be 0.1, so I can change the answer right there. And then everything else is good. So I hit save, and what that did is it fixed that question. So now any kid that gets that question in the future, they'll see the correct question where it just says nearest tenth of a cubic foot. And any kid that answered the question, because I changed the answer, so any kid that answered the question before correctly, their score will update. If they answered it incorrectly before, but it counted as correct, it'll update theirs down, which might be a problem, if you're doing something that's specific. So you only want to do this if you want to fix the question here, but this fixes it. And then what I always do is fix it in my question bank. I fix it in my question bank first. So if I ever use it again, it's not wrong. But then if I really want the questions to show up correctly to the kids, then I can go in here. And you can do the same thing. Like the question the other day that I took out was in this section right here. So I went here, and it wasn't this question. But if I wanted this question, there was a question that was in here that didn't belong. I just went to this gear. I click delete, and then it just will take the question out so that nobody will see it again. And then if the kids got it before, I don't remember what it does. I think it's still there, and it still counts, but nobody will ever see it again. So if you need to look at something and change a question, you can't, there's no way to add a question in here. So if you wanted to add a question, what you can do, I might as well do that while I'm here showing you this. If you want to, you can go to this gear, and if you click edit, this will change how many questions it picks. So if you wanted to add an extra question that it was picking, it would do that. It still won't update the questions. If you want it to say you added a question to the question bank and you want it to include that question, you can go over here and just delete these out, and then you can hit add question and you can put it in. The issue with that is that any kid that took it before you make this change, it'll delete their score. So only do that if you don't care if it deletes their score or not. Because if you delete questions out of here, it basically treats it like you're starting a whole new quiz. So that's how you look at your questions. And if you just wanted to see what questions are there, and maybe if you wanted to take some out because you don't like them or you think there's too many or whatever the deal is, you can go in here and modify the quiz a little bit. If before you push the quiz out to the kids, you want to change and make it have 3 extra questions that it didn't have before, add them to the question bank, and then come here, click delete, and then go to here, hit add question from question banks, and then just go through that process, and it'll put the questions in here and update them. And then you can push it out to the kids, and it'll use those questions instead. All right, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I didn't have a plan before I started doing this, so let me know if you need help.